there is hope. Just keep plugging away, doing the right things, and seek out other people like I have, people that have been there and done that, and know that, hey, there is light at the end of the tunnel.
This podcast encourages and empowers you to create your own unique real story, develop your own unique real statement, and discover your own unique real self. The power is yours. Good afternoon, Deacon Hayes. Previously, episode 524 of the 12-Minute Convos podcast. It's been just 2 years, 11 months, 17 days, 1 hour, and just over 15 minutes since we last had our recorded conversation.
Everybody's got goals, right? And we had a goal to pay off our debt. Whatever it is, set that goal, set a deadline to it, and then just map out a plan to achieve it. And you will be amazed that when you set that deadline, how easy it is to achieve your goals.
That was then. This is now. Deacon, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks again for having me on.
Yeah, it's really great to have you. I remember that point in time when we spoke and you had two mentors, one of which I knew, which was Dave Ramsey, and the other was it Ron Blue?
Yeah, absolutely. Those are two guys I learned a lot from, for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, what's going on in your world? How have things evolved?
They've been doing great. Yeah, just continuing to grow the site that I own, Well Kept Wallet, and we're helping people make money, save money, pay off debt. And that's where Ron Blue and Dave Ramsey were just huge influences on how do I help people, the masses, when it comes to their money so they can make better financial decisions. And so it's just been growing and loving it.
That's wonderful. When we spoke, you gave the example, which is a very important example, of your life experience where you got out of debt, where you paid off $52,000 in consumer debt in 18 months. What are some of the stories you're experiencing now that you've changed the table around and helping others?
Yeah, so I've actually been able to help hundreds, if not thousands of people get out of debt personally. One of them was my mother-in-law and my father-in-law. They had over $400,000 in debt. They were able to pay it all off before they retired. And so it was just very awesome to be able to help someone close and near and dear to me figure out how do they put a game plan together and how do they execute it in a short period of time, because they had lived all their life using credit cards and home equity lines and all these different forms of debt. And they had to stop that behavior and start new behaviors to get the result they wanted. And they were able to do that, I think, in 4 years, if I'm not mistaken. So almost $100,000 a year if you were to kind of break it down, just changing their habits to be able to do that in such a short period of time.
Now, how do you score clients that are in-laws? I mean, is it that they saw what you were doing, or did you pitch to them yeah, you guys need to do this?
You know, it's funny. So I don't actually have clients in that perspective. No, they're just family members. And I just saw that they were struggling. And I said, hey, here's kind of what I did to get out of debt. Would love to help you with that. And so I didn't charge them. I just said, hey, let's sit down. Let's put together a budget. Let's figure out how many debts you have. Let's put them in debt snowball order so you can pay them off smallest to largest. And so it's really just a matter of just saying, hey, here's something that I did. I'd love to bless you with kind of the tools and resources I use to do that. And so Well Kept Wallet is really a free platform for people where they can just go and get knowledge, information, education. And so that's kind of what we do, is on a mass scale, help people get those tools and resources so that they can achieve their goals.
Wow. Well, my friend, when we spoke, you were just about to have a second child, if I'm not mistaken. Did that come through well?
Yeah. So our daughter Avery was born a couple years ago. She's 2.5 now, and she is a ball of energy and just so joyful. But yeah, so we have Finn and Avery, and Avery's 2 and Finn is 4 now.
How has what you've been doing with your finances, both you and your wife, how has that impacted them?
Well, it's been awesome. I mean, we just got back from a Disney cruise. We went down to Mexico, Cabo, Mexico, and we're able to take the kids with us. And so being able to have kind of the freedom and the plan to say, hey, we want to be able to travel. That's important to us. We want to do it with our family. So our kids are able to benefit from that. We're also teaching my kids about money. So we'll go to the car wash and they'll help me vacuum the car and I'll give them each a coin. And they really look forward to helping dad go to the car wash because they know they're going to get money from it. And so, just teaching them at a young age the value of money and what they can get if they do the right things and they work hard, what's possible for them.
And your wife. So I know specifically Dave Ramsey speaks about the nerd and the free spirit. One being the person who likes to calculate the numbers, and the free spirit not being that person who focuses that much on that. Of course, I'm the nerd, so I don't remember the definition for the free spirit, right? But in our marriage, is it similar with you both? Is one the nerd and one the free spirit?
Yeah, so I'd say my wife's definitely more the free spirit. I'm more the nerd. She definitely has nerd qualities, but more when it comes to like history and economics. But she loves decorating and buying things. And so she's definitely more on the free spirit side. I'm definitely more on the create the budget, create the game plan, tweak the numbers kind of side of things.
All right. So how has it impacted both you in terms of you being the guy that set this goal and seeing how she's going by? Would you say you have positively influenced her?
I would, yeah. And I'd say she positively influenced me in some ways too. But I'd say it really is developing that plan, having it together, right? That we both agreed upon it. It wasn't me dictating to her, hey, this is what we're going to do. It's like, hey, honey, here's what I would like to do. Are you on board? And would you like to make any changes, And so because of that, she was able to kind of get what she wanted. We call it girl money. So, she can get a certain amount of money every month to do whatever she wants with. I was able to have a plan that we can execute on and stick to. And so it really just helped us both in being better humans, and better stewards of our money that we could come together with this plan and execute and not only achieve that goal, but many other goals after that.
Now, there's a conversation that comes around with finances, one that I think people run from most times, and it's the conversation of not the DEBT, but the DEATH, which is death. Do you have that conversation regularly with your wife, with your spouse, from the perspective of it is possible to die today or tomorrow, and how does that impact you, if you do have that conversation, of course?
So we actually have recently created a trust and updated wills and that kind of thing. So yeah, we have done that. And I think that it's something that people don't talk enough about. And so really you can get on LegalZoom, very inexpensive wills just to have something, right? And then depending on your financial situation, find an attorney to do a trust. But that's definitely something we talk about because we know that if something happens to us, we want our kids to be taken care of. But we also know that our kids are still just kids. So we need to have provisions in there for like, well, what if we die before they're 18? What happens? Who takes care of them? How much money do they get? Do they get any money? Does the trustee, so there's all these questions that we've actually wrestled through and talked through. And I think other people listening should definitely do the same.
Now, one of the scenarios that occurs often with people getting out of debt is the question of how do I make more money? Being in the space that you're in, seeing people successfully getting out of debt, what's one or two ways you can suggest an individual can look at making extra cash on the side to get out of debt?
Yeah, one of the things that I like, because anybody can do it, is yard sale arbitrage. So going to yard sales or local flea markets, whatever it might be for people listening, and buying stuff for less and selling it for more. When we're getting out of debt, I go to yard sales and I look for electronics because I worked at electronics stores growing up. And I would look for things that I knew like, hey, this I could get decent money for. So like a router, right, for internet. I would scan the barcode on my Amazon app or whatever app it was at the time. And it would say, hey, this is selling for $50 on Amazon. And I see that it's marked for $5, right? So I buy it for $5 and I sell it for $50. And I'm going to pay some fees, shipping and Amazon fees. But at the end of the day, I make $20 or $30 for just a few minutes worth of work. And that's something you could do on the weekends when you got free time. Other things, people are using their cars like crazy, using services like Lyft, Uber, Instacart, Postmates, you name it. So just using their vehicle on their off hours to make some additional income. These are things that most people can do because a lot of people say, well, how can I make money after work? Well, those are two ways that you can do it pretty fast and start to get out of debt, build an emergency fund or whatever your financial goal might be.
When we began setting up financial education in our country, we thought that many people would gravitate to the getting out of debt part, only to realize that many people wanted to understand even more ways they could do better with their money, which was intriguing and still is intriguing to me. So you had more people in the class who were doing well with their finances, but they wanted to know what's a great way to invest or any other tips and tricks. What would you say if you had to give advice as to tips or tricks or investing?
Yeah, when it comes to investing, from my perspective, it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. And I don't know what it's like in a lot of other countries, but I'll just give you in the United States, we have index funds where you can invest in just a basket of companies. So in the United States, like Apple, Amazon, Walmart, all those type of things, you could buy the S&P 500 index fund and you would have those companies in it, and they have 500 of those types of companies in it. And so for us, it's very simple, just making sure that you're putting money away for the future, at least 10%, 15% if you're trying to catch up, even 20% if you're older, really just kind of saying, hey, how much can I put away? Because your retirement years are going to be your most expensive. That's when you'll have healthcare issues. That's when you'll have things that you'll have to take care of that you don't expect that are going to cost more, because as we get older, things cost more. So really just having that consistent plan of investing and investing in something that has a long-term track record, like an index fund. Other people like to do real estate. I actually have a book that I wrote called You Can Retire Early. And we talk about 3 different ways. So business, real estate, or investing in the stock market. It's kind of 3 ways that you can kind of invest and grow your wealth. And so those are the ones that I usually promote the most.
I appreciate that. Of course, amazing audience, there's a ton of knowledge that this guy has, and I would suggest you check out Well Kept Wallet. He's really built a website where you can access valuable information, so check that out. Again, wellkeptwallet.com. Deacon, this has been such a great pleasure reconnecting. It's both motivational and inspirational to hear that you've continued doing what you set out to do. It speaks like the size of a ship in terms of navigating everything that goes with business, and to see that you're helping others pursue excellence. I think it's something that we all need to say thanks for on behalf of humanity. So well done. In closing, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
No, but I'm really grateful for you having me on. And for people that they're just struggling, right? Just know that I've been there. I'm sure you've been there, right? When it comes to your finances. And so just take heart that there is hope, and just keep plugging away, doing the right things, and seek out other people like I have, like you had mentioned, people that have been there and done that, like mentors like Dave Ramsey, Ron Blue, and know that, hey, there is light at the end of the tunnel. And so keep it up. And if there's anything I can do to help, let me know.
Love it. Deacon Hayes, again, a great pleasure. Thank you for being on What is Inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. This podcast is produced by Pod Edits. Visit podedits.com for professional podcast publishing.